So let's talk a little bit about what's happening in the GRADD. You all probably know a lot about what I'm going to talk about, but I just want to speak in terms of what's happening, what I understand is happening, and tell you how proud I am of the efforts that you all are making in workforce development and providing jobs for companies that need workers. The first thing I want to mention is the rapid response sessions that have been held recently with the help of Michelle Drake and Jody Rafferty. Is Michelle here? I know Jody's here. Thank you both for what you did to help organize these rapid response meetings. It's made a big difference for the coal miners that are either already laid off or are gonna be laid off. It's a great example of the collaborative efforts between the local folks and the folks in Frankfurt in order to provide familiar faces and hometown support to businesses and individuals that need the services that the rapid response teams can provide. And I want to thank you again for doing everything that you're doing regarding this. You provide career center services, resources like unemployment benefits, guiding people through the maze of various tools and resources that they have in the event that they lose their jobs, adult education services, and other assistance. Great response. I want to thank the business services team for hosting also the job fair that was held on January 29th in Henderson. I'm told that over 40 employers or resource providers attended with the goal to help find jobs or provide jobs for some of the folks that need their services. And I'm told that there were 230 attendees, and of those 230, I'm told that 200 were soon to be or already laid off coal miners. And partners with the Kentucky Skills Network, specifically the Kentucky Career Center and Owensboro Community and Technical College, are working to get certified production technician training program up and running. And the business services team is working with employers to assure that preference is given to workers that achieve that certification, that will give them an advantage over others that don't have that certification. A lot of other things going on as far as the business services team, the Kentucky Skills Network, the support from the community technical college system. Too much to go into today, but I just want to say thank you for all the great efforts that you're making to help in workforce development. Let's talk about work-ready communities. I've got to say, I am so proud of the Green River Ad counties because all of the counties are either certified work-ready or certified work-ready in progress. I don't know that any other ad has that claim or can make that claim. And my friends over at Economic Development tell me that this Work-Ready Communities program has been a great tool, a sales tool for them when businesses are looking to locate in Kentucky. It's been a great sales tool for them, and also for companies that are already here and want to expand their business. And so I understand that nearly 30 companies have invested in or expanded in the GRADD area in the past few months. I'm told the total investments at the end of December 2014 by these companies resulted in over $465 million investment and created more than 1,200 jobs. These are great results, folks, and I've got to believe that some of this is related to the fact that we're work ready. And across the Commonwealth, there are 16 counties that still have to embrace the Work Ready Communities program. We're going to be working with them between now and the end of the Beshear administration to encourage them to embrace and to engage and to help them get on their way to becoming work-ready communities so that our goal can be met, which is that by the end of the Beshear administration, all 120 counties in the Commonwealth will be at some level of readiness for work-ready communities. In fact, we're going to have you'll hear more about this, but my understanding is that on April 29th, we're going to have a best practice conference in Versailles at the KCTCS system office. That's April 29th. We'll allow counties that are already work ready or in the process to come and share some of their best practices with other counties, and then allow those other counties to share with you as well so that you can take those back home and utilize those success stories to further your efforts at being work ready. So let's talk about something I know is probably weighing heavily on a lot of folks' hearts, and that's WIOA. Does everybody know what WIOA is? It's not a cough drop. It stands for the Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act. It is the first major federal legislation that's been passed since 1998, when the original Workforce Investment Act was put into law. And we are very excited about a lot of the changes that WIOA is going to bring. I'm not going to go through all those changes, but it does streamline the workforce development system. It better aligns the workforce development programs with the needs of employers. It helps folks that are disabled in certain ways. It spends more money on disadvantaged youth. Some really great things are coming our way with the introduction of the legislation that was passed last July, signed by the President. Before WIOA can be implemented, the states were charged with the responsibility of looking at all of their workforce investment areas and determine the appropriateness of those areas. For example, have the major job markets made a major shift since 1998? Has the concentration of employment had any major shifts since 1998? And other demographics. There's been very little change, frankly speaking, here in Kentucky in terms of the demographics. The jobs that are there from a percentage viewpoint are pretty much the same as what they were in '98. People are still basically coming from similar areas. Jobs are being filled with about the same number of people living in the counties where the jobs are. And there's a number of other criteria that basically tell us there's not a whole lot of change that needs to occur in the workforce investment boards. But the thing I want to point out is that this has been a very consultative process, beginning with looking at the workforce investment areas, appropriateness, and also we've been charged with the responsibility of designating areas for economic development. It's been very consultative in nature, and we have many folks that have been assigned a role on what we're calling the steering committee. Thank you. Steering committee for looking at designation or redesignation of the various areas. The steering committee actually made its initial recommendations in late January, and then they met with all of the chief local elected officials to inform them of their recommendations. The next step occurred last week, where we had public listening sessions that allowed the stakeholders to come in and talk to the steering committee about any concerns they had or anything that they were particularly positive about with regard to the designation, or with the recommendations on designations. And today, as a matter of fact, the steering committee is meeting in Frankfurt to sift through all of the input that they received through the listening sessions and try to determine what is the ultimate recommendation going to be. And when they reach that, whether it's today, tomorrow, or Friday, we want this process to be completed by Friday, that they will make a recommendation to the Kentucky Workforce Investment Board, who is the arm of the governor, so to speak, that sets policy with his direction on workforce investment issues. They will make this recommendation to the Kentucky Workforce Investment Board on March 2nd. You're all invited if you wish to come. They're public meetings. And once those recommendations are approved by the KEWDC board, then they will be subject to appeals. And following any appeals, a final recommendation will be made to the governor, who will consider the recommendations before issuing his executive order on the designations or redesignations of local areas and regions. And we hope that'll happen by the end of March, because the clock is ticking, and in early spring, the federal government is going to release its next set of guidelines for states to develop their own policies and procedures for beginning Workforce Innovation and Opportunities Act on July 1st, 2015. So we're running out of time. A lot of work has to be done between now and July 1st. And between July 1st of 2015 and July 1st of 2016, complete implementation of WIOA will be accomplished. So I've talked maybe too much, and I would, again, I want to thank everybody in this room for the work that you do to promote workforce development, to promote providing trained and qualified workers for businesses that need those workers. And I'm proud to be associated with you.